Tag TV, and Tag Radio, rapidly becoming the leading technology new media in all of Georgia and the Southeast. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by Integrated Learning Services, integratedlearningservices.com. Wait, worry, or take control. At integratedlearningservices.com, increase sales, productivity, and client retention. Lower training costs. integratedlearningservices.com. House Bill 1069, the Georgia Angel Investment Tax Credit. Have you heard? It passed. That's right. If you're a venture capitalist, entrepreneur involved in or with a Georgia startup, or care at all about the economic health of our startup community and its early stage funding and growth, this Tech Talk is for you. If you're aware of the critical importance in today's economic climate of job creation and the vital role that nurturing and supporting innovative startup companies will play in our state's economy in the 21st century, this Tech Talk is all about incentives to make you a key player in Georgia's future. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, June 22nd, 2010, and this is Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. As technology leaders, you know that one of the most important components of any successful business is access to early capital. Well, less than a mere few weeks ago, House Bill 1069 was approved, and now it's game on for venture capitalists and entrepreneurs ready to invest in our future. In today's Tech Talk, Tino speaks with a leading private sector advocate in this new legislation and an expert on the facts, figures, and future opportunities represented by this exciting economic growth incentive. Knox Massey, managing partner of Keith-Massey Family Investments, angel investor, managing director and board member of the Atlanta Technology Angels, and board member of the Angel Capital Association. Well, just what is the tax incentive? What companies qualify? If I'm an investor, how do I apply? How long will the tax incentive last? And what happens when it all ends? From how it all began to what it all means, now the new House Bill 1069 is ready to be implemented, as Tino Tech talks with the leader who quietly worked behind the scenes to help make it all happen. Atlanta's own angel investor of a very special kind, Knox Massey.
Knox, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk.
Absolutely, Tino. Happy to be here.
Well, you kind of behind the scenes were one of the guys I know that was instrumental in helping to drive this whole tax credit issue, which is the thing we want to talk about today.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with it, why you felt it was important, and any history behind the tax credit.
Sure. Well, when I started at the Atlanta Technology Angels as executive director back in 2002, one of the first things I did is sort of try to get out into the community beyond Georgia and find out what other states were doing. And one of the first states I went to was North Carolina. And North Carolina has had a program in place for, probably 20 years. Very successful. It's called the North Carolina QBV program. And so I studied that over time. I found out that there was a good number of other states that had the tax credits, which led me to doing a little bit more serious work and starting in around 2006, which eventually led to the House Bill 1069, which we'll talk more about.
Well, very good. And this is something that has been kicking around, like you said, for quite some time. So I know these things take a while, so we appreciate your stick-to-itiveness, and you're a good partner with TAG. And I think the history of our relationship, and then also bringing in Mike Eckert and some of the angels who ended up investing to help us to get more lobbying power behind our person, Kalen Sewell, does a great job.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate that. Well, let's talk a little bit about, as an investor, what are the metrics in terms of the tax credit, people need to understand, because I think we've got the information out there, but there might be some confusion about what it is.
Sure. Well, first of all, the House Bill, it's House Bill 1069. It's really easy to Google, so you can go straight on to Google and just type it in. I usually type in Georgia House Bill 1069. It pulls it right up. The language that we'll be talking about today is Section 2 in that bill. So for all of those who are interested in finding out more, you can certainly go there. But the metrics for an investor is it's a 35% tax credit against an investor's Georgia state income tax liability. And it's a $50,000 individual cap annually. it can be made, the investment itself can be made as a direct investment, meaning you or I, if we invest in a young company, we write a personal check, or you can make it through a pass-through entity, an LLC or an S-Corp or a partnership. A lot of early-stage financing, angels or otherwise, sometimes go through those type of entities. So that's the initial things you need to think about when thinking about the bill.
Yeah. Now, talk about just the size of the company, because that's a piece of it, right, in terms of the company
Yes.
that someone can invest in.
Yes. The intent of the bill from the very beginning was to make sure that the monies invested using this tax credit was for early-stage companies, be it technology companies, biotech companies, manufacturing companies. But typically it's going to be a company, and this is all included in the bill itself, it employs 20 or fewer people. It has annual revenues of no more than $500,000, and it has not raised any more than $1 million in financing. So it truly is geared towards early-stage companies here in Georgia. And, of course, it has to be a Georgia company.
Right. So it's a good segue into my next question, which is this been a problem for Georgia and the Atlanta area in respect to having enough investors invest? Of course, I think most people know the answer, but maybe you can add a little color to that.
Well, I think Atlanta and Georgia overall now has a strong early-stage investment group, and you've got the Atlanta Technology Angels, you've got the Communication Group, you've got some other networks out there like Angel Lounge, you've got people like Imlay Investments that have been doing investing for a long time. And as that area, early-stage investing area, the angels grow, it is important for Georgia to establish tax credits such as this that I think, and Tina, you and I have talked about this before, something like, I think at last count, 22 other states in the nation use.
Right.
So the growth of this early-stage investment, I mean, we just really need this type of initiative to move Georgia forward.
And North Carolina actually has had some great results. Bring that to life.
They have, and I was going to dig through my numbers earlier today, but from what I can recall from research that you and I did along with Kaylin a number of months ago, was they've had the program in place, I believe, since 1989.
That sounds
and
right.
The amount of money they have invested is just an amazing amount. The number that comes to mind, I'll bring it out, but I have to do some more research, was along the lines of $600 million over the last 20 years. It's just amazing.
So these are folks that have actually kicked in that amount of money, and there was a substantial number of companies that have been funded that are now doing well, and we know that the research triangle in that area is quite strong in that regard. So it's helped, and it sounds like we're on the road as well. Now, this isn't going to last forever, so how long does the tax credit
last?
I mean, we'd like it to continue, but there's a period, at least the first go-around. How long?
Yeah, it's what's called a sunset program, and typically these tax credits will last a certain number of years. And the reason that many states do this is to sort of test the program, especially if it's a first time. And so the Georgia program lasts for 3 years, which is not unusual to last anywhere from 2 to 5 years.
Right.
So the state of Georgia has it for 3 years. It's a cap of $10 million per year for a total cap of $30 million in credits.
So hopefully we've got some people that are listening to this program today that are saying, this might be something I want to find out more about in respect to actually if they're an investor. How do they apply for the credit once they've made an investment in a company?
Yeah, some of that information is, what type of investor do you have to be? You have to be an accredited investor, has to be a Georgia company like we spoke about. The Department of Revenue in the state of Georgia is going to be the last say about how this is all, how you apply for it and how you actually get the credit. Now, since the law was just passed, about 2.5 weeks ago, we have not yet spoken to the DOR. We anticipate talking to these folks probably in July or August. And once we do, we'll have a clear idea of how it's going to be set. But it's the responsibility of the DOR to come out with those rules. We'll be talking to them, so stay tuned for that. There are other states, such as North Carolina and others, that have on the web how it's done. You can always take a look at that. But until the DOR puts those metrics down, we can't really say for now.
And there is a program coming up. I don't have the date in front of me, but I know it's in July. You may have it that you and I are going to be on a panel with the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce presenting more information about this. And I know they're expecting a big crowd, but people
absolutely,
can still go to our website or the Gwinnett Chamber and register for that. It is free, so
I think it's you and Kaylin and myself, as well as last I heard was Representative Chuck Martin, who was crucial in helping us get this passed.
Yeah, there was. I guess we should give a shout out to the legislators who really got behind this, and even in a tough economic time, they thought enough of this bill, and I think the people that were supporting it say, hey, this is something we need to get through. So. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Casey Cagle, Chip Rogers, Chuck Martin, and quite a number of others were very, very helpful, as you well know, through Kaylin,
right?
And talking amongst ourselves.
Well, Knox, thanks for joining me on Tech Talk today. I really appreciate, I think, speaking in behalf of the technology community for the state of Georgia, your personal efforts, and congratulations on helping to push this through. And now people need to step up and invest and make Georgia a stronger place for entrepreneurs.
Well, Tino, your organization was crucial as well, and I certainly enjoyed working with you guys, and it was wonderful, and we got it done. So congratulations.
Thanks.
Okay, Tino. Thanks.